Hey everybody, just setting up the stream. Cool. So we have that, and then we'll start the TikTok stream once it uploads. But anyways, today's goal is we're gonna look at how to set up Pinecone with n8n. Just build a workflow, make sure it works step by step, and prepare for a YouTube video. So the goal of the YouTube video will be how to set up Pinecone for n8n. So while that's downloading, I'll just explain what a RAG database does. So a RAG database essentially stores all of your company's documents. So it might be frequently asked questions, standard operating procedures, etc., etc. And it's a centralized database where you can have an AI agent access it and retrieve the most correct answers whenever it's responding to chats, whenever it's answering emails, those sorts of stuff, yeah? So, just wait for TikTok to get online. Move that across here. TikTok. Here we go. Go live. Cool, that is working. Make sure the sound's working on that too. Cool. So I am now live with both TikTok and YouTube. Let's get the show on the road. So make sure that we can hear the desktop audio as well.
And then we were able to chat with the agent to get answers from the PDF.
There we go.
So after that video, a lot of people started asking me, well, what if we have hundreds of PDFs or hundreds of different documents that we want to push into a vector database and have that database keep growing, and we don't want to have to manually, test workflow every time in order to send it through into Pinecone every single time.
Let's start again. Start from the beginning.
A few weeks ago, I made a video about an RAG AI agent where we pushed a PDF into a vector database, and then we were able to chat with the agent to get answers from the PDF. So after that video, a lot of people started asking me, well, what if we have hundreds of PDFs or hundreds of different documents that we want to push into a vector database and have that database keep growing, and we don't want to have to manually test workflow every time in order to send it through into Pinecone every single time. So in this video, that's what we're going to be doing, and it may be a lot simpler than you think. If you haven't already watched that RAG video, I would maybe do that real quick so that you understand the whole process of retrieval augmented generation and pushing data into Pinecone. You'll understand indexes and namespaces a little bit more. And then you can come over here, and then this video will make a bit more sense, and also like setting up Pinecone and the API keys and all that kind of stuff. And finally, before we get into the video, just wanted to say thank you guys so much. The amount of support and feedback I've been getting from you all has been overwhelming.
Good job.
Agent, where my staff can ask questions about our current reviews, current menu changes, promotions, policies, stuff like that. Could also be great for training. But what we have here is all the information. I have a bunch of Google Docs that I had ChatGPT write up some dummy data for me. And so we've got these documents, and then I just wanted to put them within a single folder in my Google Drive. So I've got a folder here just called data, and I've got all of the documents. So now that you've got all your information that you want in your database into a single folder, let's hop into n8n. Now that we're ready to start building the workflow, we have to add the first step, which is always going to be a trigger. So we're going to do trigger manually here just so we can hit it, test workflow, and then it will search the folder, grab the files, put them into Pinecone for us. But in the future, once you already have your original database set up and all you need to do is add more information to it, you could have this trigger be like a Gmail folder trigger. In the future, we're going to grab search files and folder. So as always, configure this node, get set up with your account and parameters to find a folder. But all we're going to do is we're going to go to filter and click on folder, get information back from this folder, and then we'll just hit test step. We're getting the ID, and then we're getting these files because this one will actually give.
Let's do this at the same time that he is speaking. So we'll go ahead and create a new folder, and we'll just call it data. Hey Paradise. And what we're going to do here is drag our knowledge base FAQs. So we'll organize that. and move it into our data folder. So the data folder is going to be where we store all of our information. Cool. So let's continue with them. Hey Summit.
Give us the information from the file. So I'm just going to call this one get content, just so we know what's going on. We'll have this configured already. We're looking for a file. We want to download the file. And instead of choosing from a list, we are going to do by ID. This way we can just grab the IDs that are coming.
So what he's doing is he's added a manual trigger. And then next to that, we're going to get all the folders from Google Drive, all the files. So we're going to search for files and folders. Hey Trinidad. What did he do? So we don't care about that. Execute this step. We'll just see what we've got here. So in our folders, we want to search for data, I suppose. We want to search only a folder though. So how did you do that?
Lets you just choose from a list.
Okay, so in our filters, we'll choose what folder. So instead of choosing root, we're going to choose that and we're going to get everything. Cool, so here we've got the ID and we've got our file knowledge-based FAQs. Perfect. Let's continue.
And the only folder I've got in my drive right now is data. So we're going to grab 14 documents, cultural events, coming back, curations, loyalty pro. So that's why we need to come in here and grab another node, which is going to be another Google Drive.
How's everyone doing tonight? Hey YouTube people as well. Let me just make sure. I'm learning how to connect Pinecone to n8n. So Pinecone's a vector database store. And I'm just following n8n's YouTube guide at the moment to see what I can learn. So hopefully that's interesting to you.
Node previously, and now we have ID and it's going to be an expression. So it'll get content for every single ID of a file that's coming in from the previous Google Drive node. So,
cool. So let's just update that as well. So what we are going to do is download all of the files from that Google Drive folder. We download this to the local, and now we've got a binary output, which we can then go and upload to Pinecone. So that's the next step. Hey, thanks for the live 1, 2, 3. So just continue going back.
We'll hit test up here. This one's going to take a little longer because it's going to be searching
Ask
through
any
those
questions, Mr. It,
files and pulling the information back. So we'll just give this one a second. All of them are here. This last one is for orders. JSON, we're just getting the be able to just take all 14 and put them. It's going to be to that first file. Got the loop set up here. We'll get rid of this, and we're going to set up the actual loop. So in here, what we want to loop is the Pinecone vector store. We're going to add a document. Set up your API, your credential, which is an API key in Pinecone. Obviously, you've got your indexes, and then you have your API keys right here.
Cool, let's do that. So I haven't actually signed up to Pinecone yet. So Pinecone database. So Pinecone is the vector database to build knowledgeable AI. So Pinecone aligns with our vision to democratize data accessibility for all engineers, and we're excited to uncover more potential with its new serverless function, I guess. Let's go sign up. Just continue with my Google account. OAuth 2. Cool, you can see that. So I guess all I need to do is create a table. I'll just put this on the side so everyone doesn't see anything. Cool. Alrighty, so let's go to our API keys. We're going to add a Pinecone vector store. Oops. we'll need that loop actually. So pinecone vector store. I'm guessing we're gonna have to use a add documents to vector store. Create new credential. Let's move this off screen for a second. Cool. Cool, so that's working now. So now we need to create a pinecone index. So let's see how we do that. So in pinecone, create index, let's call it data, create the index. Configuration, so probably this, text embeddings 30, I suppose. We'll find out.
We'll just copy this value, configuring it, setting it up. So we're going to insert information pertaining to set up the credential information we're getting, because the JSON is recursive of what's going, like a token.
We need to actually tell us what's up.
$100 index called sample. We'll click into it. It'll grab all, and we can see the data that's coming.
Does he? Metric is cosine. Let's see. Let's find out. Cool, cool, cool. We'll find out if this works or not, guys. So we are creating an index called data. We'll go back to our n8n tab and see if that works or not. Just delete that. So we've got data there, perfect. What options do we have? Pinecone namespace? No idea. So embeddings, we're going to use OpenAI. We'll just use the small embeddings because that's what I set up. And then let's see if we've missed any other instructions.
Through, we've got our namespace called restaurant.
Hey guys, how you doing?
It's got 14 vectors in there, so we're good here. This is going to add the identity. You want to do it if you have, 100 documents within.
So we need to add a default data loader as well. Cool. As well as a text splitter. Let's see how you set that up.
We've got default document loader right here.
Cool.
Types of data coming in. We want to change this from JSON to.
So change that to JSON to binary.
Binary. Because the JSON, all that's processing, if you remember, was the ID of the file and the name of the file. But the binary data, that's going to be the actual content that it's going to find within each document. So we've got binary. We can leave that as is. And then finally on.
So if we click out, we should have a text splitter, but it doesn't. It looks like they've updated it. Cool. So guys, let's see if it works. I'm gonna go and hopefully insert some data into our pinecone vector store. That's pretty easy. Like, if that's it, just seems to take a long time. So hopefully, let's check our index. What did our log say? So it looks like it's splitting up our document, it's just not doing anything correctly.
What we need to do is add a text strings in between sentences. It's going to grab here. As you can see, it's going to, so as you can embed each one into your vector there, so we're good to go. This is going to be a demo restaurant A.
So it looks like it's got hung up on something, which I'm not too sure what. So what we can see is it's getting stuck in this store here. We're going to figure out why. So we're loading binary. Cool. Load.
Testing, if you remember. Finally, all we need to do is add a text things. It's going to grab 1,000 characters at a time, and it's not going to.
I'm stuck, guys. Does anyone have any ideas as to why it's not working?
Overlap anything.
The only difference I can see is we've got a default data loader and it's recursive there. Oh, something happened. Cool. So we'll save that. Maybe that will work. I don't think it's supposed to be taking this long. So I'm going to change the embedding batch size to 1000. Just make sure.
Insert. Right now we're just updating our database or configuring it, setting it up. So we're going to insert, and then in Pinecone, I don't know if you saw, but my index was called sample, so we're going to grab sample. And then finally, you have the option to add this to a namespace if you want. I think it's beneficial to keep all your information organized. It also can help your agent find things quicker if it knows which namespace to look within each index. So in this namespace restaurant.
So let's just try restaurant. We're going to load our frequently asked questions into the Pinecone vector store so that our AI agent has access to all of our documents or standard operating procedures. So for the use case would be if you go to a website and you're talking to an AI chatbot, and then you might ask, what is your shipping policy, or what are your opening hours, or is there off-street parking near your store? The AI agent will then look in the Pinecone vector database and find the 1 or 2 paragraphs that answers the question and be able to repeat it back to the user. So that's one use case. Now imagine that you're a company and you have thousands of documents, okay? So you don't have one frequently asked questions, you have thousands of different policies and procedures. And then somebody asks a question. What the Pinecone vector store allows you to do is to find that one paragraph in those thousands of documents that is most likely to answer the user's questions. Here we go. Vector dimension 15 doesn't most. So what that means is, let's find out. I hope that answers your question, Mark MC. Cool. Continue. Trying to use n8n to load embeddings into PowerPoint. Hey Naomi, how are you? Okay, so most common using. Okay, so here with our index, we can just go ahead and delete that data, delete the index. So the dimensions here are too small for our embeddings. So what we can do is create a new index, call it data2. Dimensions need to be split data. Let's just go embeddings large. Which is kind of strange. 1536. Okay. So what we'll do is we'll create a new index with text embeddings 3 small. Set the dimensions to 1536, and that should fix our issue. Cool. So for this one again, let's go into our n8n workflow. See if I can get rid of all this stuff. Knowledge base. Cool, so let's delete all of that again, and we'll go into our embeddings. Cool, let's see what happens. Execute, and let's see if it works or not. Hey, it did something. Cool, so in our Pinecone database now, we should have some information in this knowledge base. Cool, so we've got 2 blobs. Can I see what these blobs say? How do I read what the blobs say? In Pinecone, how can I see what? Okay, so we've got text. We'll take a screenshot and see if we've done it correctly or not. Did I make a mistake? So we're trying to see if our embeddings got correctly inserted into our Pinecone database, because okay. So it looks like our default data loader, custom. So let's get rid of that, okay guys? And we're going to go default, and we're going to use specific data from data. I'm going to use binary data. Maybe that's why. So use the default data loader, change it from binary. Now let's re-execute that. And let's check our database. should have 4 records, I think. Here we go. Oh, more than that. Okay, so let's just delete all this stuff. So what I want to do is I want to delete all of the incorrect records. There's probably a better way of doing this than doing it manually. And then we'll do a fresh upload and I'll try and understand what has happened. Cool, we'll delete that. Alright, now let's rerun this. Cool, so in our database we now have one, two, three, 4 rows. Cool. So if you can see here, the text as well has been split up. Alrighty, let's try and add an AI agent. AI agent here. Use OpenAI. GPT-4 1 mini, simple memory, tool, and we're going to use pinecone. Retrieve the information from pinecone to answer the user's question. And we're going to reference data, limit the 4, we don't know what that means. And we'll use embeddings OpenAI again. That should do it. Right, so hi, what is your shipping policy? And it should access, add a system message. Who has access to the pinecone tool? To answer users' questions. Cool. Save that, and we'll try it again. Cool. So AI agent has now used the pinecone tool, and it couldn't find any information. Interesting. Alright, let's go figure out why it's not. Oh, okay, so we need to use the vector store tool. Vector store tool. Use this tool to retrieve answers from pinecone to answer the user's question. Cool.
We just need to set up the, and then we need to set up this question.
Cool. Is that correct? Vector store tool. Oh. Cool. Cool.
Okay. So we've got that, and now
we have to use a pinecone vector store from data.
finally just the actual index, of course. So the index is sample.
And then we'll use OpenAI's again. And hopefully this works. Oops. Hide that. Stop. Save that and try one more time. What? Huh.
And we need to make sure it's pulling.
Knowledge base. Save that. Awesome, it worked, guys. We did it. Yeah, so let's try and explain what's happening. Pretty long-winded way of doing it. Essentially up here is we have a workflow that inserts embeddings from our knowledge base frequently asked questions. So this Word doc gets split up and then inserted into Pinecone. Once it's in Pinecone, you can see the different embeddings if it actually shows you. So you can see the 4 different embeddings here. So what we want to do is when a user asks the AI agent question, it uses the answer question with a vector store and then uses the Pinecone vector store that's going to retrieve the documents. And we need to make sure that we are naming the namespace for the index so that you can retrieve the answer. What are your opening hours? Cool. So our customer support team is available Monday to Friday. Awesome, guys. So I'm going to save this. If you enjoyed this short stream today, please don't forget to follow, like, and subscribe. I'm going to turn this into a YouTube video so that I can share my knowledge with everyone else. So follow me on YouTube if you haven't already. And don't forget to join my automation vault, which is at www.christorrington.com. Until then, I'll see you guys. Thanks for joining in. And I'll see you in the next one, guys. Bye.